What's up, guys? It's Brandon Flash. Today, you're joining me in Barstow, California. We are at an absolutely massive Tesla Supercharger. I'm going to be giving you guys a full tour of this site and of the Baker site. Unfortunately, the 120 stall new Barstow site is closed right now, but have to show you guys these while I'm here. So we are at the Barstow, California, Tanger Way Supercharger. 70 stalls here of version 3 posts. There are also countless level 2 Tesla wall connectors. There's not anything that's that special here to show you guys. However, I did want to show the Tesla Mega Pack that is on site here. And then it's also interesting because they actually use some like raceways here, which is different than Tesla normally does. And actually pretty smart. So there are actually 3 transformers here that I can see. And this site is huge with solar canopies, you name it. So we have, like I said, 70 stalls. So we have a ton of cabinets. Here's the transformer, one of the transformers. This one is a 2500 kVA feeding into this distribution cabinet here. And then feeding into Tesla Supercharger cabinets, of course, as usual. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then more. Here we have, see, this looks like maybe another 2500, maybe bigger even. See if we can find a label. This one's also a 2500 kVA transformer. And then here you have some access panel on the front of the transformers, which is cool. We have another distribution panel here. I suspect that is actually for the AC charging over there. That way it's a step-down transformer from the 480, 277 on the transformers, and then down to probably 240 if I had to guess. Here we have another transformer. So, apologies, looks like the transformer is actually here. So here we have 480 down to, let's see here. Trying to find the ratings on these. These are likely step-down transformers, just have to watch my step here. Where's our secondary? Anyway, someone will read these and then be able to post the rating in the comments down below. We have another high voltage cabinet there. We have the Mega Pack right here. So you can see these kind of rubber feet on the bottom that are on the pad, and then it's bolted down. That's probably for better seismic rating if I had to guess. See the giant Tesla logo there. Let's see if we can find some labels. So here we have Mega Pack. Unfortunately, I don't know what these different ratings mean. Looks like they're kind of coded into the different ratings and things and the configuration of this particular one. So if someone knows, definitely comment down below. Would like to know that. But that helps offset some of the demand charges at a site like this. Looks like we also have a map of the site here. So here we have the disconnects and such, and the photovoltaic cutoffs. We have another map here. Customer-owned generator. I think that's referring to the Mega Pack, not an actual generator in this case, because I don't see any generators on site. And what do we have here? Looks like an irrigation control system, I think. So nothing too crazy over here. Let me just walk you through the site. This is at an outlet mall, so not the best stuff to do here realistically. But what a massive site. It's also cool that it has the sign there. So that way as you're driving by off the interstate, you kind of see it and then you know to come here. But just Supercharger cabinets as far as the eye can see over here too. And these are just normal version 3 cabinets, so nothing special in that regard. We have the photovoltaic solar system. And it looks like DC system size is 74 kilowatts. I don't know if that's per inverter here. This is a lot of solar here, so I'm guessing that's per each one of those. This one's 82, so looks like we've got at least 6 of similar rating here. So that's quite a bit of solar here, just with, I mean, these are massive canopies covering basically every stall. And even if you don't necessarily need to charge here, this is definitely the spot to park just to have your car covered. And then they also have the level 2, of course, which is really nice if you're actually going shopping. Maybe put it on the Supercharger for 15 minutes, get the bulk of the charge, and then move over to the level 2. And then that way you can kind of top off and not have to worry about idle fees and things. So even though the other Barstow site with 120 stalls is actually closed for repaving, let's drive by there. I'll just show you guys that quick. And then we'll head to Baker. And that's the largest site that's open at the moment with 96 stalls. And that's kind of an OG site between LA and Vegas, and has been recently expanded. So it's now a really massive site. And this is what I'm actually driving today, a Silverado work truck 3WT. So this thing's actually pretty cool. Got it from Hertz Rentals, manager special EV, and I ended up with this, so no complaints there. I think I would take this over that just based on range and charging. The range has been awesome. I just charged it. Unfortunately, I had to wait in a 9-car line, which is kind of crazy. And efficiency is really bad, but if you've ever driven between Vegas and LA, you know the kind of flow of traffic there is not slow. So that certainly doesn't improve efficiency. And next up, we're going to head to the Barstow 120 stall. Looks like it's about 17 minutes away. It's closer to the Vegas end of Barstow. And that way you kind of have good options both ways. I think this one has better amenities. The other one has a Circle K, so maybe better if you're passing through late at night, whereas this one's probably a better option during the day. But let's head there, and then we'll head to Baker, and you'll see well over 200 stalls in this video. So I just ate at that In-N-Out, and there's actually a Rivian Adventure Network site right over there. Well, we've made it to the other Barstow site. This site has 120 version 4-post stalls. Go down a little bit so I can walk over there for you guys. You can see they're doing some paving work here right now. So right now they're repaving the entire lot. And you can see all the electrical equipment right over here. Tons and tons of it. And this site, interestingly, doesn't appear to have any sort of energy storage. Those are actually just distribution cabinets to all of the prefabricated supercharger units. So this is actually a version 4-post, version 3 prefabricated supercharger unit site. Say that twice fast. But over here we have all of the electrical equipment, so some high voltage equipment, some transformers from grid voltage down to 480, 277. We have distribution equipment, and then that goes out to all of the different posts. And we also have a solar canopy here as well. But you can see all of the string connections there are not hooked up. So this site does not have functioning solar yet, but should soon. They'll also need to mount the inverters and everything as well. So this site, they opened it with 80 stalls for Thanksgiving and 120 stalls for Christmas, but then they closed it down to do all this paving work and such. But I think this is going to be a really important site on this corridor. And now time to head 62 miles northeast-ish towards Vegas. We'll actually be at the Baker Electrify America and Tesla Supercharger site. So I'll see you guys there. Well, we've made it to Baker. We're plugged in. Made a little detour to Mojave National Preserve, but let's see how we ramp up on the Silverado. This is a 350 kilowatt balanced charger. I'm not sure if I'm sharing power or not. We'll see in a moment here, depending on how high it goes. The site is not full. We've got 5 other cars plugged in. Looks like we're getting 233 kilowatts, which is nothing to complain about, but I would like it to be like closer to 300. Let's see what the car's saying. 230 or so. So I'm not sure if that's the truck or if that's the station. I didn't precondition because last time it seemed to overheat, and it should still be fairly warm from the previous charge. So here we are, plugged in. We'll leave this. We'll let it charge up quite a bit. And let me give you guys a tour of the site. So this is one hell of a site. And if you've been following EV for a while, I'm sure you've seen this front part of the site. These are some of the original version 2 superchargers between Vegas and LA. And these are 40 stalls here. And what's really interesting is that this is actually a mixed version 2 and version 3 site. But you'll see that all of these front ones are version 2, and that's where the majority of cars are. And I don't know if it's a matter of people not caring or if they just don't know better, but they're going to be charging slower, especially if they're sharing power on these ones than they will be on those. And let me give you guys a full tour after I help this RAV4 hybrid that's trying to charge on a CCS fast charger. So let's start with the Electrify America side. There we have a beautiful Taycan leaving. So we have 12 stalls, I believe. So 4, 8, 12. And these are their Gen 4 BTC dispensers. Let me show you one of their labels. This one was just ripping. So you can see BTC power. They're all BTC power, and they're all of the Gen 4 posts. And over here we have all of the electrical distribution cabinet or equipment. So security camera there, which is good to see. This is the SoCal Edison site, which is the utility that serves almost all of Southern California. This is a 1500 kVA utility transformer. We have an absolutely massive distribution cabinet. We also have more distribution here. So here's some of the different sources. So we have service point utility meter, energy storage system. So that's that actual Tesla power pack there. So that's one of the older systems. And then we have another battery energy storage system. So that is the actual Tesla mega pack. So that's this here. And the story goes for this site, from what I've been told and what I've heard, is that SoCal Edison actually told Electrify America that they couldn't get enough power out here to do the full expansion. This site started relatively small, actually, and they were only 50 kilowatts for a little while, which was pretty crazy. So they obviously needed more capacity between Vegas and LA. So they did what they had to do in order to expand this site. And they actually procured a Tesla mega pack. So it took a while for it to be installed. Let's look at the label here. This one seems to have an actual real label. So 2,682 kilowatt hours, so 2.6 megawatt hour, and 1,341 kilowatts. So it's a 0.5C system, or 2 hours at full demand system, which is massive. I mean, hence the size of this thing. Here we have the Tesla power pack. So this is the old system. This is 258 amp. Let's see if we can find a label on here at all. So there we have 2 hour mega or power pack 2.5, 131 kilowatt, 180 kilowatt hour. And then looks like we have a second one of those. So we have about 360 kilowatt hour of capacity between these two. And then we have about 260 kilowatt output. So we have almost 3 megawatt hours of battery capacity here, which is actually a little bit over 3 megawatt hours of capacity, which is just an insane amount of energy. And then that's feeding the 7 BTC power cabinets here, which is interesting because that means that at least one of the stalls here is a dedicated power, because normally these are installed at a 2-to-1 ratio. So you would have 2 stalls. Actually, I guess 2 of them are dedicated then. So yeah, 2 per cabinet, or 2 stalls per cabinet. But here we have 7, which is very strange. You can see the label on these. These are 360 kilowatts each, dual output, power unit 9, and then they're numbered through that. But you guys are here for the Tesla side of things, which frankly is actually a little bit less interesting at this site than the Electrify America side. But here we have 40 version 2 posts. We'll start with the old install. You can see all these cars, just tons and tons of cars. There are some people sharing power, which is kind of silly. I don't think they know better, which is kind of a shame. And Tesla doesn't do a very good job of telling people that they shouldn't be using these when there's the version 3s on the same site. They don't really guide people at all, actually. So here we have the version 2 cabinets. Let's go over to the incoming power. That's where I always like to start on a DC fast charger site tour. So here we have the utility transformer. It's gotten kind of dirty here, which is unfortunate to see. They should really send a deep cleaning crew out here. So that looks to be 2,500 if I had to guess. I don't actually see a label, but maybe larger than that even. Could be a 3.5. That's usually the biggest I've seen that SoCal will use. I think that might say 3750, maybe. But anyway, it's a massive transformer. That's coming over here into the distribution cabinet. So this is the original one. There aren't really any ratings here, but this is an expansion section. So solar power pack. So that's where they have the solar coming in. Here's where they have the mega charger hookup. So these are cam locks. So they can actually install one of their portable systems. So here we have this and this. That way they can install those trailer mounted portable systems, which is really cool. They can really add capacity, and they did do that quite a few times for holiday travel before they had the full site expansion back there installed. Here we have a bunch of disconnects, some Huawei equipment. I don't know what that is, maybe an inverter. Let's see if we can see some live demand here. That's a lot of kilowatt hours there. And 470 volts, 1900 amps. So that's, yeah, a lot of power going through there. And here we have a bunch of the disconnects. So utility, photovoltaic. Here we have a map. So superchargers, battery storage, utility. You are here. So lots going on here. Also here, so 176 amps. Lots of power. Over here, so we have more equipment. We obviously have the version 2 supercharger cabinets. You guys are very familiar with those, hopefully. And then here we have 2-hour power pack 2. So these are 131 kilowatt each output and 174 kilowatt hour. So we have 5 of those. So we have a little over 5 or close to 800 kilowatt hour of capacity, whatever 5 times 175 is. And then whatever 5 times 131 kilowatt is as far as actual output. Here we have the inverter. So that's what's taking all of that energy and then combining it. And then that's also taking a lot of this solar. So they're taking the Huawei inverter energy from the solar, and then that's feeding back into this whole system as well to offset some of those demand charges and the kilowatt hour are actually delivered. Here we have the Tesla gateways that were retrofitted to all the version 2 cabinets. And these are all 135 kilowatt label cabinets, but most of these software have been upgraded to 150 kilowatt. And you can see they've kind of done this in a little bit of a janky manner as far as adding the new connectivity with the gateways. They just ran a conduit above ground or above the air, which is a little strange. I don't know if that would have been inspected, if that would have passed. But again, tons and tons of these cabinets. And you can really hear them singing as well. So let's come on back to the new install. And these are all the prefabricated supercharger units. So as you can see here, this is an ADA stall, which is interesting. Except it's actually broken. So the intent here would be that this could actually hang out here and lower it, because right now this ADA stall is definitely not compliant with this probably 12-inch curb, which is pretty wild to see. These are barely compliant to begin with, so I'm not sure how this would even be compliant realistically. They'd have to have it almost like here-ish, because the handle height needs to be below 48 inches. Anyway, I'm sure Tesla will figure that out, hopefully. We'll come on back. I don't know what was over there. Maybe those are RV sewage or something. So back here we have Tesla wall connectors, but actually J1772 wall connectors, which are pretty uncommon. As you can see here, they sold those actually publicly briefly. We have the disconnects for those. And then interestingly, Tesla has split up some of their systems here. They have 4 of just normal cabinets, and then they actually have their prefabricated bases, but not prefabricated supercharger units for these 3, and then all of these. So those are actually split off completely. And let's go back to the electrical equipment. So that appears to be some sort of high voltage kind of junction box kind of system. Here we have the utility transformer. Let's see what size this is, if we can see a label. 2500 kVA, as you can see right there. And then we have the distribution cabinet. Absolutely massive, 4,000 amps. And we have a map of the entire site. So that's all the new equipment, the old equipment and such. We have a large photovoltaic combiner panel as labeled there, and a disconnect. Here we have another 4,000 amp panel. So we have 1, 2. And then we actually have another utility transformer back here. From what I can tell, it looks to be another 2500. Yep, another 2500. We have some removable bollards back here for service access, because utilities have pretty clear service requirements for the transformers in case they ever need to be replaced or serviced or anything like that. We'll come back here. I gotta watch my step. It's pretty soft sand back here. Here we have one of the photovoltaic systems. So that is 85 kilowatts. So each section roughly is 85 kilowatt. There's one on this one there, one there. So 85 times 4 here for the new system. And then I suspect the older system is a bit less efficient, so a bit lower power. These are all prefabricated supercharger units, and you have the DC buses between them. Definitely, if you haven't already, check out my video talking about Tesla's version 3 architecture and how it all works with DC buses and such. And then let's come back to the Silverado, see how that's doing, and then we'll wrap this up. Well, it appears I made a rookie mistake here. So I had it on because that's what Tesla people do and is normal. And it was at about 120 kilowatt, and I just turned the car off and it jumped up to 304 kilowatt, which is a crazy change. I don't know why having the HVAC on in pretty mild temperatures would make that much of a difference, but I guess old software does that. So we're at 305 kilowatt now, absolutely ripping. Probably going to charge up to 80%. And then we'll get back on the road, head back to Las Vegas. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, comments, anything, comment down below. See you guys on the next one.